Thank you for checking out crypto.chartguys.com, the source for technical analysis in the cryptocurrency world. We are proud to announce our own crypto alert system designed to give you the most critical technical trading information possible no matter where you are. Keep your eyes on the market with mobile or email alerts for MACD crosses, RSI levels, and even inside bar alerts for dozens of coins across multiple exchanges. New features and proprietary ChartGuys indicators are already in development. Our alert system is very easy to customize and utilize, so don't hesitate to sign up for the most effective crypto trading tool on the market at crypto.chartguys.com. Hey everyone, going to be checking back in on the market rundown here, and if you didn't see the video yesterday, I suggest checking it out as the trade game plan played out pretty exact what we were looking for, and SPXL was the play today for those gains. And of course, exchanges today and brokerages were all down across the board, and of course my conspiracy theory and my tinfoil hat comes down because we yesterday had that huge crash and the huge flash crash and all that action, and all the brokers were running fine without a hitch. And then you open up this morning and you're telling me that Fidelity, E-Trade, Questrade, TD Ameritrade, everything was having issues. And we had a chat room full of a half a dozen plus brokerages and people that couldn't make trades. So I couldn't trade in Fidelity. It was down. And I was literally just watching the trade game plan of SPXL just rocket up right from the open. And there was nothing I could do about it. Eventually, later in the day, was able to make some nice gains trading SPXL and SPXS, which is the inverse. But, you know, I'm very skeptical that that was a real deal. I know there was a lot of activity on the exchanges, but in order for all of those exchanges to be down like that, when the bulls are buying the dip for the first time after a freak out, is a big red flag for me. Another thing I want to point out is XIV and SVXY. You may have heard about this. These instruments, these are inverse instruments for trading leveraged against the VIX futures. So we all know VIX exploded to the upside the past couple of days, and that caught these shorts, so to speak. It's essentially one giant short squeeze. And here you can see XIV yesterday was trading in the 90s, and it opens today down at 10, and it essentially broke overnight. Now, what do you mean it broke? Well, we had them bearish against a long position in VIX, and VIX shot up. So they had to cover their shorts at a certain point, and that just magnified the move up, and it was one giant short squeeze for the volatility index. So whether it was mismanagement from individuals or faulty program designs for these algos to allow this to happen, doesn't matter. What matters is, you know, this is a huge red flag for instruments like this. There were people that lost 80% of their money overnight just because this instrument broke. And that can happen again. It's the reason, honestly, that I am most comfortable cash, and I have a really hard time putting any kind of capital in long-term positions. I don't trust the computers, and I don't trust these markets. And, you know, granted, they've been doing very fine, and long-term bulls have been great. But when you have things like this happening, and even, you know, Ackman comes out today and says this market is extremely run on derivatives, and it's very risky when you have events like this where there's cascading waterfalls, you know, essentially causing flash crashes. It's just something you need to be aware of. These markets are not, you know, these invincible organisms, okay? We can be subject to a lot of sketchy things. I mean, all you got to do is watch all the videos, the Big Short and things like that, and watch, you know, the financial sector. In terms of greed versus doing the right thing, we just need to be very, very cautious, because we can easily see scenarios where all kinds of triggers and correlations collapse things, and we have something that looks like this. And these people are never going to get this money back in terms of the price going back to $90, and it's an instrument that's designed to go to zero in terms of time decay. So it's just a disaster of a scenario, and why, you know, holding overnight, have to be cautious. So let's look at markets after my rant here. And SPY bulls bought the dip on the gap down open. This was our third gap down in a row. Extreme oversold levels. Extremely strong close. The bulls got a nice bull break of a 15-minute equilibrium pattern, which we'll look at here in just a bit at the end of the day. So we closed with a strong move, a volume climax signaling the bottom for now. And I say bottom for now because now we're going to bounce. We're going to look for follow through tomorrow. The bulls have to see a green day tomorrow for follow through. And we're going to set a lower high on the daily time frame, whether it's tomorrow or Thursday. Couldn't say, but this daily chart is going to set a lower high, and then we're going to pull back and form a higher low, and it's going to give us an equilibrium pattern on the daily time frame like we see so often after high volatile moves, whether it's a bull break or a breakdown. So we are looking for a bull move, but we can be scouting bearish entries after a couple days of green once we see some signals that the bulls are tiring out. We're looking at an hourly higher low higher high pattern now. If we lose an hourly higher low higher high pattern, I'll be looking back for bearish for a higher low to form. And again, SPXS is a way to do that. Weekly chart for SPY is bouncing right off the middle Bollinger Band. 2 weeks into the week and we have tons of volume. We're going to see a volume climax here on the weekly chart. Certainly the most volume that we've seen any week, maybe ever. Going to have to look back once we get there. The Dow, same thing. Didn't see a gap down open, but we pushed down to lower lows before the bulls turned around and bought the dip. We will be looking for follow through. Resistance will be the high of yesterday, 25,520. We will be looking for a lower high to form, whether it's tomorrow or Thursday. Can't say yet. Have to watch how the action goes tomorrow. Weekly chart bouncing off the middle Bollinger Band support here as well. Very similar chart. And again, looking for follow through because we closed strong, but also being cautious as we enter bullish positions up here because the bulls have already done so much buying just today. IWM, bulls bought the big gap down open off the 200-day moving average. Still the daily lower Bollinger Band of resistance. Need another solid green day and a break of 150.37 to see follow through. So depending on where we open tomorrow, that's the most important thing. Bulls have to break the high of today first thing tomorrow to give confidence in continuation for the bulls. IWM, trying to hold the middle Bollinger Band on the weekly. If we can't close above 150.160, that will be a loss of that level. And key weekly support was 143.95, and we did hold that level, so this weekly higher low is still in play. So let's look at SPL or SPXL. In the play today, there's our hourly higher low and higher high. But if you didn't get in the first 15 minutes when you were locked out of your account and very frustrated like me, we had a nice clear equilibrium pattern to be watching on the 15-minute. We had our low, high of the day, higher low, and then a lower high before the bulls showed up. And my magnet here is not doing a good job. So here is our equilibrium pattern, and the bulls broke it at the end of the day. And this is where my biggest trade of the day was, where I went in heavy on SPXL, seeing that the bulls had momentum into the end of the day. They were going to be trying to close strong heading into tomorrow, and that's exactly where we ended up. So bulls in control, hourly higher lows and higher highs. We have hourly bullish MACD cross following through, and on any consolidation, we need a higher low compared to 41.36 on SPXL, and then a continuation for the bull move. When I'm looking bearish, once the bulls tire themselves out, SPXS is going to be the name that I'm looking for. And I'm going to be watching for an hourly bounce. I'm going to be looking for, or a daily, I should say, a daily higher low to be established. And then again, an equilibrium pattern. So let's just check in on the volatility index real quick. VIX. It's a bearish reversal spinning top candlestick. I wouldn't be surprised to see VIX trade with an inside bar tomorrow. If we hold 2242 support, I'll look for a daily inside bar. If that level breaks, we're looking at 1680 as the next support. And talk about, you know, there's definitely huge risk and reward in options with this kind of volatility, where you have a move from $50 down to 22 in one day. But the market makers and the bid and the ask, it's a little bit frustrating at times because it's so wide and so volatile that there's not really a good liquid market in a lot of these options. So there were scenarios where, you know, SPY would be rising for 5, 15 minutes, 20 minutes today, and options would be going down. And that's just because the pricing and the time decay and all the Greeks are all out of whack because of the amount of volatility that we're seeing. So again, as I said in the video yesterday, I'm just most comfortable in common shares. It's nice and easy to control. As long as the brokers let me buy and sell and let me into my accounts, all goes well. So that's where we stand heading into tomorrow, looking for the bulls to start the day out strong. We'll see if they can hold up all day. Hourly higher lows and higher highs is a very important pattern to be watching. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.